Hello there, travellers, and welcome to TV Show, where we recap and review Game of Thrones. We are up to Season 6, Episode 5, The Door. What up? My name is Maude of Dragons. Work with me here. And I will be moderating. Thank you for the laugh. That was a lot of sympathy and empathy in one. I'll be moderating today's recap for you, but joining me on the couch, we've got a few new people. We've got Starlene Hodge.
Hi.
Starlene obviously does a lot of our graphics here, but she is a diehard Game of Thrones fan. Yes, she's a book reader, but will we be talking about the books? No, we're talking about the show.
Yeah.
Woo! Because that's what you guys want. So we'll do that. And also joining me on the couch, Joel Rubin. Joel, you are back. Thank you for joining us again.
I am, and I made a pledge to you that I will not mention the books, or at least I'll try my hardest not to do so.
Oh man,
It's okay,
but in the
I'll do
books,
it. I'll
like
do
page 47 specifically was my, oh my gosh, Billy Bear is the cutest thing ever. And you may notice we brought a direwolf on set as well. So if you see Billy Bear roaming around, she's just here to protect and to save us.
Yeah.
And that's what's important. Guys, let's be honest. Let's have a little confession corner here. Who cried?
I teared up.
I was real close.
You were, guys.
Even I was real close.
I teared up. I just wanted, because I think it was just, I was so shocked more than, like, it took me like maybe 15 minutes afterward the show ended that I was like, that happened. And just to kind of wrap my head around the whole time looper situation that was going on. So it just, I was dealing with that more than like the feeling, and then it hit of like, no, that Hodor's gone.
Like the whites in the cave, I felt them brimming and trying to bash down the doors of my eye hole.
Did you hold the door?
Nothing did. There was no one or nothing to hold the door, and they were flooding out and flooding down.
I understand so well at this point the concept that nobody's safe on this show.
Yeah.
And that nobody has got plot armor. But first of all, like, are you really gonna kill this like loyal, like unthinking, innocent protector whose only like purpose in life is to love the people that are protecting him? Yeah. Apparently you're going to. Also, and it like knowing enough about the show, like that they're in the north and they needed Hodor to get to where they are now. They're stranded now. Mira can't pull Bran, especially since he's grown like 4 feet since she hauled him up to the north in the first place. So how are they going to get back down? And so because of all of that, I was sort of sitting there thinking, things will be bad. Obviously the Raven's gonna die and the children are gonna die and they're gonna have to leave. But Hodor will be fine, right?
This is the thing about Hodor, though. He's the one character that had absolutely no agenda, no ulterior motive. He was, in essence, quite pure at heart. He was so innocent, like you said. But to find out that his entire life, his destiny, was that one act to hold the door that we saw, and that chain of events happening that, you know, we got introduced to young Willis, and it was a really amazing moment. I know that I wrote a fan theory about how Willis became Hodor, sorry. Scratching that one out the window because it was kind of close, but nowhere near what I thought this would be. I just think that the reason why I kind of like cried is there was a helplessness knowing that his entire existence, his whole life was kind of like taken from him in a way to serve a purpose to save someone else, to protect Bran.
On Twitter, we have Melanie Pinkins at MelanieAmber23. She goes, Hodor's death seemed to happen in an infinite cycle, and that's what truly breaks my heart.
He had to die. There was no way he wasn't going to die. Like, he was destined to die. There was nothing he could have done to prevent being dead, is basically what you're saying. Well, what?
Like, she feels it was an... It's
Well, every time he says Hodor, he's remembering... He's like actually picturing and imagining his death. Like he got a glimpse of
he's aware of it, or he
just
just kind of got
talk
stuck?
about. That's really interesting, and it's the first thing I thought of after you digest the episode and everything is he cognizant enough in his brain to know, like, I'm with the guy who's going to kill me, and, like, it's my job to protect him. I just need to protect him. I've been his whole life, like, I'm waiting for Bran to be born. I'm just waiting for Bran to be born. Like, he told me I needed to hold the door, and I'm waiting for him, and I'm going to, like, see him, and I'm going to protect him his whole life. Or do you think that he is just, like, a simpleton who doesn't understand that's the one, like, it's the one thing that he heard and he remembered, but he didn't know what it means, and he's just sort of responding in time to what people tell him to do?
I want to go with the kinder route and think that he was not aware and it was just kind of like a glitch and he's just stuck in that he's stuck in that moment, but just doesn't understand what that moment was until that happened. Because it would be so cruel the other way around.
I kind of think it is like that. I kind of think that when he heard Mira being like, hold the door, that was a haunting thing. And because he was walking, Bran was walking with him, and Bran is actually present in that particular time. As you can see, he's almost facing Hodor, shutting that door as he's slowly being drifted away. And, you know, through Bran can hear Mira. And I think that he got a glimpse of that, which is why he couldn't actually handle it. His brain really couldn't tap into and understand what was going on, but it shut down from the power of it in a way.
Yeah, he had like a mini warg moment himself. His eyes went, and then
I think
it
almost
was
had like a
Do you
seizure.
think that him holding the door was him, Hodor, holding the door, or do you?
No, that
think
was
it
Willis.
That was Willis. That was
Willis.
Yeah.
I kind of wanted him to say something. I kind of wanted him to scream, run!
I've got it, Bran.
Yeah, just something. You know what I mean?
You my dog.
He's like that last moment, he was himself again for
Yeah.
the first time because it had clicked and he'd reached that point because obviously this was the end moment. This is when it happened and he had to reach the end
Yeah.
to get there. Anyway.
It's so impressive how long he held it for too.
And
And the scratching slowly happening as well, and
I
then
know.
the stabbings, and
I
then grabbing the
know.
ankle. Like it was such a visceral moment. Oh, it got me.
and speaking of other heroes, Joanna Harrison at Joe_Harrison 1997 said, "I really would appreciate it if they'd stop killing off the dire wolves. The little squill it let off was horrible."
That was heart-wrenching. Well, Summer knew as well, like, you know, Bran and Summer are tapped in a mental way, and he knew that, you know, Bran has to live. No matter what, the goal is Bran has to stay alive for basically Westeros on the world to survive. And it was that thing where both Hodor and Summer sacrificed themselves to try and save them.
The amount of guilt Bran's gonna feel when he's like back in his body.
Because what a tranquil moment that he's in. His last moments where the Third Eye Raven is passing the baton is back in Westeros. It's back in this time, obviously, when Willis was there.
Well, and you have to wonder, like, why, like, they're running out of time, and the Three-Eyed Raven knows that they're running out of time,
and that he's not ready. Bran is
he's not
nowhere
ready,
near it.
and that's the one that he shows him is one that he's already seen, and like obviously it's a pivotal, crucial moment to this moment, but like it's really interesting that the Three-Eyed Raven wasn't prepared for this time, didn't think it was going to happen this quickly. But he must have known that this is the moment when, like, the crucial, critical moment when it all happened. And, like, why is it important for Bran to know that? Does the Three-Eyed Raven know that Bran can affect the past? Does the Three-Eyed Raven know that he can talk to people in the past? Is he, like, showing him this to prove to Bran that this is what your power is? There's so many questions that are left
That's
unanswered.
the one big frustration that I have with that character, where it's just you're so vague, you're not telling anybody anything. It's like you need to know everything, but you don't know everything. I'm not telling you.
You have to learn and figure it out
How easy would it
yourself.
have been to tell, like, hey, Bran, by the way, don't, like, if you're gonna go on your own, avoid
Nothing
this guy.
bad.
Avoid
Yeah.
this guy because the reason why he can't get in is because he hasn't touched you. Don't let anyone touch you.
Really
that-
useful information.
That was the one moment of the show when it felt really lame, to be totally honest, is when it felt like
It was scary,
like
though.
we just needed no oh yeah, that whole sequence was amazingly scary, but like they needed a device to let the Night King in, and it was like, I don't know, you could feel like the writing of the show as opposed to like the characters playing out the things and like the natural laws of the show happening. That was the one moment in this episode where it was like, we need an excuse, he grabbed you, and because he touched you, now he can get in.
Yeah.
It felt a little hacky to me, but that was the only thing in the entire episode that I did not. I mean, everything else in this episode was really fantastic, I thought.
I do understand your frustrations with the Three-Eyed Raven. It's like you're the all-seeing being. How do you not know that Bran would, you know, do that and break the law? Like not the law, but like the rules of the confines.
I mean, unless it's supposed to happen, kind of thing. That's what I'm assuming is
Well,
the
funny
goal
that you
of
mentioned that
The
because the
unending
Red
cycle.
Priestess, that's what everything is about. Everything is supposed to happen as it is. Everyone is supposed to be exactly where they are supposed to be. So it's like you can't change what's happening. I still think, though, that Three-Eyed Raven should have provided cliff notes, cheat sheets, really just kind of going, oh, my time is limited.
Just give some information, because what else? He's a teenager. He's gonna
needs all the help he
mess
can get.
around. He doesn't. He's bored, and this is the only place where he could go to literally walk around, kind of, and feel like himself again. And you're just being like, no, I'm gonna let you know, just not yet. I'm gonna let you know, but not yet. That's the most frustrating thing for anybody.
Yeah.
I mean, and whether he knew what Bran was going to do or not really calls into question anybody's choices on the entire show. Because if what's going to happen is going to happen and has already happened and is going to happen in the future again and again and again, and if time is a flat circle, then like, is there free will? Is there choice in this universe? And right now, sort of the signs are pointing to not really. Like the stuff is going to happen because it's going to happen because it's going to happen.
Yeah.
And no matter what choices you make, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So I'll be interested to see if they play with that sort of predestination versus choice, free will, or if that's just all they're going to say on the matter. and move on.
Maybe that's Bran's purpose, because since he can go into the past
He can
and
change
affect
events.
things, he could change things. But maybe,
But if
he'll
he's
make a-
changing the past, then it's already happened.
Right.
but maybe he makes a choice not to.
I need to be very
do
high.
something. I don't know. Like maybe who knows? Who knows?
So let's kick it off from the beginning of the episode. We see a very different side to Sansa. She is really becoming a woman now. She's taking charge. She reminds me a lot of Catelyn Tully, her mother, sitting at the table when it was when Robb was supposed to become the King of the North, and she's sitting there during the battle strategic planning. And there she is going, this is why we're doing this is why we're doing that. And she's becoming a little bit of a liar, and she's keeping some information to herself, in the case of Peter Baelish. But she's also getting rid of him completely because he has completely breached her trust, and she's done with him.
Is she done with him? Because I felt like that was inconclusive. I like it still felt to me like she might be keeping him as an agent to get information from.
She's learning and absorbing. I love her arc and Arya's arc, like showing them side by side, because both of them are learning from the people who are like teaching them all these lessons, and taking it in and then using the skills of their own accord. Like Arya's not nobody. She's still her.
Yeah.
And Sansa is very much like, yeah, everyone still probably thinks I'm this little girl, but she's learning how to manipulate people. She's learning how to do the whole like soft touch when she's like trying to ask for things. Like you could see all the people she's been around kind of in her, but thankfully she's a good character. She's learning it and using it to her own. Like, that's why she didn't tell Jon the thing. She's like, you know what? I've learned there's some things I have to keep to my chest.
Yeah.
Until I figure out when it's appropriate to say or not say it.
But I do love how she challenged Peter Baelish. Like, he just rocks up like, hi,
Yes.
sorry about that, soz my bad. And she's like, if you didn't know, you're an idiot. But if you did know, you are now my enemy. Because she's like, you pretty much sold me to a guy who was going to torture me in the worst possible ways. And the fact that she wasn't shying about it at all, she was like, what do you think you did to me? And he was like, I'm not going to answer that. No. What do you think you did to me? And
I
then
was
having
expecting her
Brienne
to
be like, she asked you
show
a question.
something, like show like her, like a wound or something, which I'm kind of glad they didn't. I was just I'm still mad about that plot line very, very much.
But I think that this scene really put it into perspective in a way that I was worried that they wouldn't last season, because it really felt like they were they were showing the horrible things that were happening to her, and they were implying a lot as well. But it really felt like they were just going through it really quickly without allowing her time to say how she felt about it. And so we finally got a scene where we saw sort of not just like the fact that she's a scared girl or that she's now like has a lot of resolve or, whatever it is, but like we saw what it did to her and how she's processing that. And I think that's really important as a survivor of something that like a variety of terrible things that happen. It's important to show that both from her character development, but also to the audience. I would assume a lot of whom have gone through similar terrible things.
But the way that people usually deal with it is to bury it and suppress it. For her to address it so much so, and to be like, you caused me this pain, a pain that I feel every single day and will feel like I can recall it every day.
She's
You did
using
that.
her agency. Yeah. She's found her agency.
I just wish this was the way she ended up finding her agency.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. This is where we're at now. I'm happy with what they're doing with that.
But the tables have turned as well. Peter Baelish was always in charge, and you can even see from the last episode, he's still got motions in play, and he's completely in control of every situation that he's in and the people in his circle.
Except for this, though.
Exactly.
And
she finally said, he goes, if you want me to beg, I don't think he's a good actor still. If you want me to beg for my life, Sansa, I will do that. And she's like, fuck off, get out.
I think that's what's also really frustrating about this whole situation too, where you have Littlefinger, who's supposed to be this master manipulator, all this stuff. Sansa, it's supposed to be his weakness, but a weakness toward him. Like he fucked up on this, and it hurt her. It didn't really hurt him, and it's like.
But he expected to walk back in the situation and everything be fine again.
We don't know
like,
if it hurt him or not. Like because he obviously has his plans. He's obviously wanted to use Robin Aaron, Sweet Robin, and get him together with her and join the armies and take Winterfell for some purpose. So, but she's not allowing him to do that now.
Yeah.
She's taking control of that situation.
He's gonna
now,
do some shit anyway.
Well, he's gonna do some shit, but it's not gonna be the shit that he wanted to do.
He said he's got the Knights of the Vale on standby, ready to go, ready to protect and ready to rescue Sansa. And she's declined that, going, no, I got my bra.
Yeah.
My brother over here. We've got an army of our own. And he's
Yeah.
like, half brother. It's like, ooh,
Yeah,
burn.
fuck you, Littlefinger.
Yeah.
Come
So
on.
like, that was also weird because he was when they were in the crypts last season, and he definitely gave her a long look when they were at Lyanna's statue, which we talked about a couple weeks ago, about how maybe he knew about something about Lyanna, but this time he was like half brother, like
Yeah.
almost rubbing it in. So like I don't know what he knows anymore. I honestly don't know what he knows. Also because he's been away from the show for so long.
Yeah.
So like I don't know where his head's at.
So let's move on to Arya's story. This was a very new thing that we saw from her. I mean, we do see this tired, exhausted. She's training, she's getting stronger, but still not strong enough. Will she ever be strong enough? So she's been given a third chance because apparently there is an overriding theme between the House of Black and White that she will never be strong enough.
Your fingernails are the House of Black and White today.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I've got the stripe hype happening. What? But yeah, my House of Black and White's on my fingers.
So like every other Arya scene this entire season, and honestly for the last like season and a half, anytime I like the House of Black and White, I think it's a really compelling location, and I'm curious like why they do what they do and who's pulling the strings, and like we got a little bit of their origin story this week, which was interesting. Having said that, like her training bores the shit out of me.
It really
It's
does.
every scene with
Even
her.
this, and the choreography was amazing in
Yeah,
this.
it was
a
a
lot of
beautiful
fun.
fight,
It was
and
a-
then at the end you're still like, but this is the same.
It's the same. The only thing I liked about Arya's scene this week was her reliving those moments in King's Landing. First of all, it was funny. Like it's a funny
The play? It was clever, yeah.
Yeah, it was a very like, I mean,
I thought the play
Shakespearean.
was rude. I was like, this is rude. I was like, Ned, why are you doing
Well,
this?
it's propaganda. It's
Yeah.
obviously made by King's Landing to show that Joffrey was the true heir and like to cover up all that shit that really went down. And that Ned Stark is dead. He can't defend his own honor.
Right.
So they're
Yeah.
just
And I liked I liked how much she was enjoying the show until Ned comes out and Sansa, and then like it becomes personal for her. And I really appreciated that's the lesson that she has to learn with this particular mission.
detach.
I just wish that like we didn't need to see any of the lead up. He just needs to say, there's an actress. Like you cut to Jock and Hagar and her in the House of Black and White, and he says, there's an actress. She needs to die. This is where she is, and you go there. You don't need a girl gets a third chance. A girl needs a third chance. Then a girl will have a third chance. Very good.
Yeah,
Oh my God, it's like
I
you.
think they just wanted to add that threat, like, oh, like if you don't do this, we're gonna kill you. Like the
Got
gods
it.
need a life. Like, all right, fine.
Got it.
It's still kind of an empty threat,
Yeah.
really. There's no weight behind it.
Yeah.
So something that you wanted to bring up, Star, was
Oh.
that Daenerys or Amelia Clark has finally come forward saying, you know what, there's a lot of boobs, there's a lot of tits. When are we going to see some guy junk? We got
and
it.
we did, and it was fine. It was lovely. However, my complaint was, the angle that you're showing it at, and like the lighting, all that stuff. Like you take such care to show the boobs in a lovely way. Even the butt. The butt was fine too, but like, come on, man. Like if you're gonna show it, like be nice about it. Like
You don't like the...
I didn't
Close
like
up.
the downward kind of blowjobby angle of it, kind
And
of thing.
the fact that he had warts.
That
Two.
too. That too. Two
Warts.
warts. Like it's just like you're so close to at least making it like if you're gonna be exploitive.
Yeah.
Like
I just like what I do appreciate is the producers of the show, like everyone thinks that they're not going to show Wang at this point because they've showed like a couple of Wangs but not that much Wang.
right.
And at this point they're kind of like, all right, fuck you.
Everybody Wang Chung tonight.
Like you're not expecting a Wang. Here's a Wang out of nowhere. You're gonna get Wanged out of nowhere tonight.
But it's like not like but do it up nice.
But
Like, it could be still out of nowhere. Just make it.
I think
nice
it really
look.
depicted what was happening in the troupe. Like you've got this acting band together and it's like clothes optional and it is obviously, you
they're all
had that-
nailing each other.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're all just doing whatever, and he's caught something.
Yeah.
Being a bit naughty, a bit warty. Ha 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 ha! I thought that was funny.
But I did appreciate the butt. The butt was fine. Like when they did the other side angles. Like look, you know how to light it. Like yeah. Anyway, that was my.
Do you think it was a little bit like were they making too much of a point with his point?
I think it's more like what you were saying. It's more of like a fuck you, like, oh, like you want some dick? Here's some dick.
Do you
And then
think
it's never shown in a way
lot
that's
of balls
like,
as well, actually.
it's never shown in a way that's nice.
Do
I'm
you
just
think
saying,
that there's a
it could
difference
be-
between showing boobs and showing a dick?
Oh, yeah.
Which is how? What's
Okay,
the
so
difference?
for when they first showed, I think they showed penis, or it was like somewhat
I think
of
it was Hodor's penis.
Yeah, it
was one
was
of the first
Hodor's,
penises
yeah.
we
Oh
saw.
my god!
And then she was all like, oh, he's part giant.
Full circle.
Oh, Hodor.
But wasn't it when Loris was getting it on with his pretty boy
Yeah.
as well? Wasn't
Yeah.
there like a little
I
like
think they just
tasteful
showed,
nudity?
I
There's
think they
just
showed butt. They didn't show.
Lot of butt.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Same thing with Jon Snow. It's just always butt, which is fine.
good.
Butt's
It's a good
great.
butt.
Not complaining about that.
But
However, like if you're gonna go full frontal on it, because they do go full frontal with the ladies all the time as well. Just I'm just saying, make it look nice. That's all.
I feel like we see. I just feel like we don't see a lot of vagina.
We do though,
We don't see a lot.
there's
we see,
Tuft. I
we
believe
see
season
some.
1 there was
We
a
see some muff
Yeah.
occasionally.
which you should kind of. I mean, across the board, considering the time period, there should also be like hairy armpits
There
and like
and
hairy legs
I
and all
totally,
that stuff too.
I totally agree.
Like-
A lot of times I'm sitting there thinking like, who is shaving these people? Like,
Yeah, I was just like, they have the Westeros razor companies
Yeah.
are doing real well.
there's an alchemist making nair somewhere.
Yeah,
Apply liberally all over your body. Let's move over to the Iron Isles. This was a scene, again, they're like really kind of getting through this. You know the King's Moot was imminent and it was going to happen. Theon Greyjoy came back and Yara was like, don't you dare take my queenage away from me. And turns out that he was nothing but supportive, but that still wasn't enough.
Yeah, I was really surprised. For a split second, this is the part where I go in the books. So sorry in advance.
I haven't said it yet.
They do this scene and it's very similar. And I thought the show was going to go in a different route where, you know, Yara shows up and she's like, I'm badass and she has support and all this stuff. And then other people come in and kind of like overrun that.
Yeah.
On the show, because they you know her better actually on the show than you do in the books, which is kind of nice. I thought, I was like, oh, well, maybe they'll change this because she's going in there. She seems to have way more support. And I kind of, for like a bit of a second, I was just like, ooh, this might be something new. And then, of course, Euron comes in and kind of does is like, well, I have a dick. And this is what it and
We've never had a queen before.
yeah, I have a dick and I'm gonna go bone Dany and this is all we need. And then
But
that was it.
explained
And
the
I was just
Iron
like,
Isles so much.
Yeah.
Like that's if you don't have it, then you can steal it and you
There-
can kill for it.
And you know, it's I was sitting there thinking that the whole time. Again, like I get it.
yeah.
They like, but the Iron Islands, they only respect assholes. That's the only thing that they respect is like the law of pure assholes. And Euron's the biggest asshole around,
What
man.
better way to do it than come
Yeah.
in saying, "Yeah, I killed Balon Greyjoy."
I killed the king. You don't have a dick. I refuse to be ruled by a queen.
Yeah.
Fuck you all. Like, and
Yeah,
I'm
I-
also gonna go take the dragon queen.
Yeah, I haven't
Yeah.
been here in like over a decade, but I'm just gonna show up. It's fine.
And it almost makes him like it almost makes him more ironborn than the rest of them. Like the attitude of coming in and taking what you want. He
Yeah.
literally says like, "I paid the iron price," and he did. He paid the iron price.
And
for the
then
throne.
Yara went and was just like, bye, and took all the shit.
And so where are they going in all of those ships?
I kind of hope.
Where is left to go?
I kind of hope they're going to go see Dany. Why not? Well, she's just like, oh, that was your plan. I'm gonna go do this first.
Did Euron plant that seed? Because he kind
Oh.
of made a compelling argument where it's like, she's got dragons. This is, they've never ever been over that side. They've never been to Essos. They hardly know that area. They've really stayed to the north and confined to the coastline. So for him to be like, yeah, there's this queen, Daenerys, he's got his own agenda with her. But to be like, she's got dragons, she needs ships, she's got an army, let's take over Westeros, boom. That's a great big carrot dangling.
And
Yeah.
in the preview for next week's episode, we saw that Sam is going to be in
I didn't
Heart's
watch
Hall
it.
or what's that?
I didn't watch it.
You didn't watch the preview?
You don't? Do you want to know? Are you being spoiler free?
I could know, but some people might not want to. So tune out now.
Okay.
So we saw that Sam's going to be at his father's home, and he's going to meet with his father, which we haven't seen in the books or anything like that.
Oh, we have in the books.
No, he hasn't gone. Well, he hasn't gone there after. He hasn't sailed there
No,
yet.
he only
he
stays
hasn't
in
brought
Old
Gilly
Town.
there, and he's
Bravos
bringing
in
Gilly
Old
there.
Town, yeah.
And like geographically, that's not too far from where the Iron Islands are, and like where
Yeah.
theoretically they could be raiding. So I don't know if like Yara's just gonna take the ships and start raiding and like make some money and like say, hey, this is our life now, we're raiders, or if she has a greater mission and an idea in mind of going to do something, or if like she'll throw her lot in with the North, or if she'll throw her lot in with King's Landing, or like what, like because she has a fleet, she has the biggest fleet right now in all of Westeros.
You can't sail to the wall though, which is annoying because that's where they're needed.
You sure can sail to the wall.
There's the 2 ports on the end. There's Eastwas by the sea, and oh my gosh,
no,
the
the Bridge of Skulls is like there's like mountains and stuff. The wall ends and there's a bunch of mountains and stuff on the west.
I thought there was another port.
No, it's only the one Eastwatch by the sea.
Oh,
yeah.
I mean, is Theon maybe in her ear and could be like, I owe a debt to Sansa?
I don't think she'd care.
Yeah, I don't think. I mean, maybe I don't know.
Where are they gonna
go? I think they're gonna go to Bravos, Essos, all that. They're just gonna head on that
but
way.
now they're being hunted.
Yes.
Yeah, because where else are you gonna go?
They've got a head start. Like building ships takes a little bit of time.
I want 1,000 ships like now. Okay.
The show is going to speed it up in the way that they speed up Littlefinger being able to travel from place to place to place.
Yeah.
But like building ships takes a little bit of time.
Yeah.
So moving it on to Daenerys Targaryen. Obviously, she's now free. She's got her Dothraki army. There's Ser Jorah being like, hugs, kidding. I've got grayscale. What are you going to do about it? And by the way, the most unkept secret in the world, I love you.
Yeah.
I could have sworn he had already told her this.
Oh, like countless times.
I feel like this has happened already. And then she's just like,
I can't get rid of you.
Yeah.
Okay, go cure yourself. And a part of me wonders if like, I mean, I feel she does mean it. Like she doesn't want him dead, but I also kind of feel like she sent him on a fool's errand just to kind of, like,
for her peace of mind as well.
Yeah.
No, I think that she came around to realize that like the love that he has for her, like I think they both understand now that Jorah understands and Daenerys understands that like the love that he has for her is going to be somewhat unrequited, certainly in the physical sense.
Yep. Especially now.
Especially now. But I also think that what Daenerys realizes is that because of the love, it makes him the most loyal, the most perfect, the most valuable person on her team. I'm not even going to say servant, I think that's what it really is, but like the most valuable person on his team.
Dario was looking at the whole situation like an awkward third wheel, like, oh, fuck.
They have a history. And because she's realizing that now, I think that she's absolutely sincere in saying that she wants him to find a cure. Now, whether he does...
I think she feels some sort of responsibility now because she keeps trying to, exile him, and in trying to come back to her and save her, he's caught grayscale. I think she's like, oh, my bad.
And it was nice finally to watch her after 3 seasons of... Like, she's been so rulerly the last 3 or 4 seasons that, like, it's finally nice to watch her have, like, a really conflicted moment of, like, pain again, of, like, actual pain.
And like, she became more human again. And that kind of like, you're like, oh yeah, like it's just a sucky situation all around. And maybe Jorah will get a cure. I mean, they helped Shireen, but like for Shireen, like the younger you have grayscale, the more likely you can be cured of it. It's treated kind of like
only
chickenpox.
spread to like one part of her face. It's like rapidly taking over his arm.
Yeah. So maybe I mean, I don't know with the show. Like, it feels like he'll get the cure and then he'll die.
Yeah.
That's how that'll go.
He'll, like, be running towards her, like, drinking the potion.
Like,
it'll clear up his arm, and then an arrow is just going to go...
Yeah, and you're just going to be like, well, I guess that's how this is going to play out. Yeah.
But destiny and fate, and this is exactly where he's supposed to be, and whatever happens to him is exactly how it's supposed to happen.
The cure is going to be, like, the dragon burns his arm, and then it's like, well, it's not going to change.
Are there any tweets happening about the Dany situation, the grayscale? Does anyone care?
All the tweets are about Hodor and Summer.
Understandably. I mean... The direwolves are such an important part of who those characters are. They haven't been able to focus on them so much in the show because of budgetary. Like, it's hard to make a direwolf as often as they
really.
need
We brought
to.
our own today. So.
Yeah, where is she? Where's my direwolf? Where's my little direwolf?
She's kind of like Ghost. She does her own thing.
Yeah, she does her own thing. She'll be back. But because maybe because they haven't showed the direwolves as much in the show, I don't know if it means as much to show watchers as it does to, I think, me or you, who you're with these characters. You see them interacting with the wolves. You see them you see the interplay between each of the Stark kids and and their
pups
and their familiars.
Akihila, I'm sorry if I butcher your name. Sankamara Manchi says direwolf White Walker.
Oh God, I hope not.
Oh, I didn't even think about that. I mean, they have horses.
Mm-hmm.
And is Hodor going to become a White Walker as
most
well?
likely.
We never
God,
saw
I
him.
hope not.
Hodor is a White Walker.
We never saw
no.
him die, and it's that thing with Stannis all over again. And we were left wondering until Brienne finally says, "I killed him," and you're like, "Oh."
I'm assuming they're both going to be white because that's going to be an emotional moment and like a big fight in the end where you're looking out and you're going to see
Hey,
like
In,
Hodor with his
in
glowing
season
blue
2,
eyes.
when they're going to the Fist of the First Men, I think they talk about how White Walkers ride bears, they ride
Yeah.
ice spiders, which we haven't seen.
Oh, yeah,
There's
ice
all sorts of
spiders.
cool shit. So yeah, I mean, I hope we don't have to see a zombie summer running around, but I wouldn't count it out.
I did have someone tweet me, and apologies for not recognizing you, but your tweet was so overwhelming that it's all I could think about. You said the symbolic nature of the fact that when summer dies is when winter truly begins.
Oh,
Right?
Wow.
How cool is that? You know what? I'm going to go through my tweets and actually give that person the recognition that they deserve because that's pretty
that's
cool.
such a bummer. Like,
yeah, but the direwolves have been so symbolic from day one. You know, the
So,
fact that the snow
like,
ghost.
I mean, I guess this means like Nymeria is like the best off, right? Like the moment Arya was just like,
Well,
go.
Ghost is still around somewhere.
Yeah.
He's doing his thing. I also think that there are a lot of theories running around right now about how the direwolves came because they, in the first episode, for season 1, episode 1, they say direwolves haven't been seen south of the wall in centuries. And so there's this theory that the three-eyed raven sent the direwolf down to below the wall so that the Stark children have these direwolves, have these protectors. And if you think about it, then maybe Bran is the one who's like sending the direwolves down. There's also, there are these weird moments where like trees rustle and Jon, who doesn't think that there are only four direwolves, he realizes that there's a fifth one that he can have. Like there are all these weird sort of mystical moments that are associated with them, and it is not just chance that the direwolf is there. There's a reason that it's there, and I think it'd be neat if like you start to see some of these pieces fall into place as to why the world ended up the way it was.
Yeah, I think they implied because of that comet, that red comet, that whole thing. It's just like magic's returning to the world because of this red comet. And so I personally always associate, like the direwolves are coming and all that stuff is because like the magic's returning.
And the dragons were born that year too.
Yeah.
Birthed again. By the way, Jordan Bowes was the one who wrote that one at the valid point. And that you do have, good sir. Thank you for that symbolism with summer and winter happening. The other theme that's happening is destiny and fate. And I want you guys to weigh in on it. You kind of did mention that you hope that everything's not predestined.
Yeah, because that's always sad. And
helplessness. You can't change
and then
anything.
there's no options, and it means like people's choices don't matter. And
But it's also the reason why Dany could actually get her power and her, her name out there more, because Tyrion is saying that just fixing the slavery problem is not enough. Just having peace with the Sons of the Harpy is not enough. She needs reputation. She needs people to worship her, and the only way that can happen is with the help of the Red Priestess. This is the second one that we've seen now, and she's just
I
as
think I
enamoring.
like her. I think she kind of.
I think she's dangerous.
I think you know what it is? I think I like her because she reminds me of the actress from The Mummy.
Oh, Rachel
Rachel
Weisz.
Weisz.
Yeah, and so I like that. I like that character.
I like me some Rachel Weisz too.
And so it's just made me go. I'm like, oh, like she's cool. Like she's gonna like do some cool. She's probably also really old, as the And,
Yeah, she's wearing one of those ruby necklaces, and like,
she owned Varys.
And how do you know that Varys's dick got chopped off? Like I think he told Tyrion. When he told Tyrion that story, he's like, I think he said, "I've never told this to anybody else." This is why I hate sorcerers.
And
This is why I
Tyrion's
hate
just
magic.
standing there like, dude,
Shut up.
just.
Shut up. Just shut up.
This is the first time, though, like, Varys has always been so calm and collected. You know, every time, like, the books, sorry, damn it, I did one. But they describe his soft, powdery hands
No, I won.
so well that every time I see him, I can almost smell this baby powder because, he's always so gentle and so soft and so calm. And the fact that he's had his own, events that had happened to him that shaped him to the person that he is today, a secret that he had barely told anyone, told back to him by a woman that he's never met before, that look that he had in his eyes, he's like, shit.
He was scared.
He was panicky for the very first time I've seen that, and it silenced
So
him.
how did she know? Was she the voice coming out of the fire? Was she
Who
one of
is
the
the voice
sorcerers?
coming out of the fire?
Like,
I want to know what the
did she
voice
cut his
said. I
dick
wish she
off?
would have said
And
it.
she was like, do you want to know what it said? And I was like, yes, please. And he was just like,
What do you think the word could have been?
who could it have been? Who is this sorcerer that had to use little boys' gonads to get a communication happening in a fire. Obviously, it has to do with the religion, the Lord of Light, because sorcery, because she knows about it. Obviously, this is some sort of destiny that they've all been taught.
You know what's
What if
interesting?
the word was snow? I don't know, like, cause
Then it could still be applied to Ramsay.
yeah,
Well, you know what's interesting is that in all of the blood magic that Melisandre did, it was all with king's blood. And there is power in king's blood, as she says again and again and again. So Varys,
Could be.
theoretically, he might have
Mad
a
King.
drop of king's blood in him.
And what was the theory that we were talking about at the end of last week, that he's the Mad King's
He's
like a bastard.
He's a member of they call them the Black Dragon. So 100 years before all this happened, there was a big rebellion with this one king had a bunch of illegitimate children, and he legitimized them.
The
and
Blackfires.
The Blackfire Rebellion. And then there was this big fight for power. And then the immediate aftermath is when the Dunk and Egg novels take place. And there is a theory that one of he could be one of two things. He could be a Blackfire, like the heir of the Blackfire, whatever, which is why he shaves his head. And
because he could have white blonde
because
hair.
he would have white blonde hair. And then there's also a theory that he might be a legitimate heir to the Targaryens. There was a Targaryen actual prince that was sent overseas for a while, and he had a son, and the son had a son, and that might be who he is. It's like it's all very convoluted, and the real problem is that between seasons, there's so much time between seasons, and there's even more time between each of the books releasing, that anybody has as much time as they want to come up with the craziest, most outlandish theories that anything could be explained in any way. You can cherry pick any kind of data. So, like, of course he could be a Targaryen, or a bastard Targaryen, or a sorcerer's kid, or a maester that's gone bad, or he could be anything. Like, based on whatever
or he
evidence
could
you
just
pick
be
up.
who he is, and it's just like, no, this is what I do.
Right.
Because what else am I gonna do?
Yeah.
Who knows?
But why is he supporting Daenerys then?
For
He's
the realm.
always supported Daenerys.
For the
Daenerys has been
realm.
the number
Why
one.
does he support the realm? Maybe because he's a Targaryen and he thinks that they should be ruling. And see, that's the whole thing. Like I said, you can just come up with all these theories.
But but on that point, he's also a survivor. He's also managed to use the words and the spies and secrets to his avail. But his unwavering
Loyalty?
thank you has always been to the Targaryens, even when he was
No, to the realm. He always says the realm.
He
He
does say the
doesn't
realm.
say he doesn't say Targs. He says the realm.
because if he said Targs, he'd get killed for bloody treason.
But I actually kind of agree. Like, I think that the one time it feels like he's being sincere is when he talks to Tyrion and he says,
Is it because of what he heard in the fucking fire?
It could be.
maybe, I don't know.
Could he have heard what the fire had said?
Maybe the word was the realm. Who knows? Like, it's
And that's why he has unwavering loyalty, is because of what he's heard from the sorcerer's prediction or whatever happened.
Maybe. I don't think that he would, like, if someone cut off my penis and then put it in a fire and then a voice said something out of the fire, I wouldn't follow that advice. I'd be like, fuck you. You are a fucking dick and you're terrifying me, but I'm not going to, like, do what you say.
I mean, but
Can I say fuck on this show?
You've done it like 3 times, and I think that's fucking okay.
Okay.
it's all right.
Yeah, I think we've all said it. Drinking game.
Oh man, I forgot I had like a little point, but I don't remember it, and it's fine.
Varys, secrets, Targaryen, realm.
It's something to do with realm.
Actually,
Okay,
hold
well.
that thought while you can, because Will has just come in with the
Will, what was
forecast.
your thought?
Look, man, I'm going to be dead serious. Hodor was one of the most vocal characters of this entire generation. My favorite quote from his was when he said at the beginning of the second season, I remember I heard you talking about this earlier, Joel. He said, "Thou shalt not cometh from the house that I once came. Anyone who comes to this house must know that I am first the one who can be fought through. I am the one, I am the diamond, I am the sun."
It was really cryptic when he said that.
Yeah.
Sounded a lot like Hodor.
Yeah.
Which is weird.
And also, the other thing I wanted to share is that I know we've been discussing who the voice of fire is, and
Yeah.
it's going to be George W. Bush that plays it in the next season.
right.
It won't be released. It's not a spoiler. This is something you could read if you read it in Daytona Magazine, which gives you all the Game of Thrones specials. And what really pissed me off about this fucking season is that there was too much dick.
Oh.
I disagree.
There was too much dick. See, they show a lot of boobs, but in this season they've been showing a lot of dick, and it's really getting on my nerves.
One
You're teaching a
time.
lot of dick?
Yeah,
twice?
How much dick?
like a lot of dick. The first time I saw Jon Snow's dick, I was like, that shit's way too small. You can't be fucking Daenerys with that shit. You can't be going
When's he
around.
going to meet Daenerys?
Huh?
When's he going to meet Daenerys? How's that going to happen?
Well, the once fall is over,
Yeah.
and it goes into summer, and it becomes the next season, which is obviously spring. He will meet her at the castle of Darthro.
Is that where the Sword of Darthro is?
No, the sword of Darthro is at the bottom of the well, Maude. Come on.
I'm so sorry.
It's like she hadn't even watched the books.
It's like she didn't. Come on, watch the books next time.
Darthro, the well of Darthro. Thank
Ladies
you so
and
much, Will.
gentlemen, William Haynes.
Hey, I hope you kept your train of thought.
It's gone.
Yep.
It's fine. It's we can move on.
So obviously we know that the season's been going at a breakneck speed. They're obviously finding how the war will take place and which armies are kind of coming together. The North is interesting because they're kind of losing the Iron Isles with their ships, but they are gaining, hopefully, the Tullys with Brynden Blackfish. And Peter Baelish is playing a role in there somewhere. When you heard Davos and Jon Snow and Sansa strategizing, an overriding theme was the North remembers. And even though Sansa had kind of neglected help, she believes that the true heir and the Starks hold such a name that it will unite people again. Do you agree with this?
It should. That should, in theory, I'm on her side with that. I completely agree that the North should fucking remember, because everything in this season seems like the North is just like, we don't care. And of the things that I nitpick on the show, that's bothered me so much, that the Northerners do not seem as loyal as they should be.
Well, the ones that were united with Robb Stark under that banner and ended up, they all got killed.
But
at the
even
Red
then,
Wedding.
for example, like the Umbers having Rickon, right? Like apparently that's where he was hiding.
Yeah, she's like, they can all hang.
Right.
The Umbers are super good.
The Umbers
They
are
should
supposed
be like
to be
the most loyal.
They're supposed to be like the most loyal, the most northern of North. Like they are the closest bigger city or house to the wall. So they're supposed to keep with the traditions the most. And if you have Rickon hiding there, why wouldn't you declare Rickon king? Like that would have just immediately went to we 100% have a Stark. We're loyal to the Starks.
Why did they give him over to the Boltons?
I think it's not. It's definitely about the name. The Stark name obviously carries a lot of water, I think. But I also think that the Northerners are going to look at what the last year or two have been like and say, oh my God. Things were so much better under the Starks. And it's not just about I'm loyal to them, although I think there's going to be that aspect to it. But I think it's going to be winter is here. Nobody is protecting us. There's a crazy person in charge who murdered his father and made his first wife eat her fingers and do all sorts of crazy bullshit. I'm excited.
Where's that from? That didn't happen in the show.
No, I don't. I heard about it, a theory online. I am excited about. You're finally starting to see in Jon and Sansa's plotting with Davos. There's a map, and they're talking about the Hornwoods and the Manderleys, and I am excited to see some of the other northern houses come in to see. I want to see. It's time the tide starts turning in the north. I want Ramsay being beaten back. I want to see this battle at Winterfell.
There's no reason for anybody in the north to be loyal to Ramsay show wise, because he doesn't have the Lannister sides, because he married Sansa, so the Lannisters was like, what we were hunting her down, so why they don't have that. He killed off the Frey wife and kid, so he would have lost the Freys. Who's on there?
Umbers and the Karstarks for some reason.
Yeah.
The Karstarks I get because of the dad thing.
Yep.
But the Umbers, like I said, this is just going to bug me forever because it doesn't make sense. We're like, oh, Jon has the wildlings coming over. They're Northmen. They could have easily gone to other houses and just been like, yo, there's wildlings. And they could have gotten their own support. It wouldn't have been hard.
That's why, that's one of the reasons that, honestly, I really am enjoying this season so much. Because the stories, I think, will end up in similar places, the book stories and the show stories. But we're on this sort of different journey now, and things aren't happening exactly the same. And it's really fun to both not know where the story is going on the show and have plot stuff revealed, like Hodor, and because George R. R. Martin has basically said yes, that is correct.
Yep.
I have confirmed that this thing that happened on the show is the thing that is going to happen.
Yep.
Will it happen the same way? I don't know. But so we found out that, but all this other stuff that's happening with Stannis and everything, I'm excited to see how that plays out. And so I've got both things to look forward to, and it's been really exciting, watching it happen, having the anticipation still. I'm gonna get both. I'm like a little kid in a candy store. I'm gonna eat all candy.
Eat it all and throw it.
I'm excited to not know what's going on, but that
Yeah.
doesn't mean I'm going to pick out things that I'm like, this doesn't make sense. And I hope it eventually makes sense.
I mean, I had a bone to pick with Jaime Lannister going straight back to Cersei for no real reason. I thought that was just like oh, what are we going to do with him now? Oh, we'll just unite them again. And I was like, I need more of a reason. It can't be just because of
I don't
the
know. I
daughter's
mean,
death.
the more I think about it, the more the reason is like they've got nobody else in the world. Like
he had, I say Brienne and I keep messing up Brienne.
Brienne.
Yeah, he has Brienne.
She's off doing her own thing now.
She's sworn to
doesn't-
Sansa.
Yeah, she's
He
sworn
could
to
have
Sansa.
joined her. He could have easily been like, you know what, I'm going to go with you.
He's the Lord Commander of the Kingsguard. He has his oaths and stuff.
And one remaining child that's alive.
Yeah.
That could be it. But I wish they played on that a little bit more. There's something that a few people were talking about, and I don't necessarily agree with it, so I want to bring it to you. Do you think that there was some kind of chemistry between Sansa and Jon Snow?
No.
She was making him outfits.
No.
They were reminiscing.
No.
Oh, that was a family. Like,
It is
No.
a family.
I'm
based
shutting it
thing.
down.
family, and it made my heart like I was just like,
It is
oh,
purely,
like
you know.
you made it to look like Ned. Like it just it made me feel good, and it made me happy, and I also like the reference of her doing like her needlework again, because like that's what she was good at, like when
Yep.
she was younger. So it's
She's
like
putting
this
dye
reference
walls
of
on her
like
outfits.
I'm reclaiming my Starkness, and I'm going to give that to you, John, as best as I can too, because
You are. It's like she's trying to be like, no, you're my brother. You're my brother. We're family. We're family.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas his fate and mother and father hasn't been revealed yet. The
What
reason
I do think is interesting about their relationship, because I'm not shipping that. But what I do think is interesting about the relationship is how much is she genuinely like nostalgic and reminiscing about their past and like wanting to bring him into the family fold, and how much is she manipulating him for her own needs to
both.
take back Winterfell, and like. Is that okay?
because she just
Is
wants
going
Ramsay
to
dead,
resent him?
and
I
he's the
think-
way that can happen.
I think it's both. I think she's using him, but it's also like, but she's doing it in a righteous, like, no, but this is what we need to do. And I've learned that, you know what, this is what we need to do. I've learned this is, you have to manipulate people to get things
well,
done.
she's not going to pick up a sword. That's
you
the
know,
thing.
and she's just doing what she has to do. And I love it. Absolutely love it.
The only reason why I bring it up is because someone said, "Well, Jon Snow's got a thing for redheads."
No. John actually thinks of her as a little sister.
John
that's-
doesn't like her very much,
And that's
like,
gross.
or
I'm
didn't
sorry. No, don't do this to me. Sansa already has enough creepy ships involved
Yeah.
with her. I don't need another one, but
Speaking of redheads and shipping, Tormund's still eye-fucking the shit out of Brienne.
I love it.
Isn't that fun?
It's super fun.
It's like, it's borderline creepy because he's
So-
staring at her. She's just like disgusted by him.
I know the Wildlings are going to Winterfell with Jon, but I really want Tormund to go to Riverrun with
he has to
Brienne.
actually speak to her. He
I know.
hasn't spoken to
I
her.
want more.
He's
I want
just
more than
like-
just this.
He's just like, but even the last one, it wasn't just like winky face. It was just like goofy smile, like
No, it was the eating the meat.
Yeah,
Picturing something else, maybe.
and I can't tell if she's genuine. Oh God, it's
I
just
think
great.
it's a mix of grossed out / I don't know what this is
Yeah.
/ I don't trust you because everyone else who's maybe giving me this kind of attention does not like me.
Yeah.
And they lied. So she's just like, I don't know. And the only reason I'm generally okay, because normally it's just like, hey, if you're hitting on someone, they clearly are not into it. Don't do that. I'm gonna look at the camera for that. Don't do that.
Where's Pod? I just realized.
Hanging
Where's
out.
Pod?
But-
I think he's just a steward at the wall now, attending to everyone's needs.
Well, he theoretically would be going with Brienne, but I was just thinking like how much I really enjoyed it, like this aspect of the story, because it's such a small thing. It literally doesn't even take screen time because it's happening like while other stuff is happening. But it's just something the fans have really picked up on, and obviously the producers really thought was great, and that's why they included it. But it's the kind of thing that the show, when the show's firing all cylinders, and it is right now, this is what it does so well. Like, and this is why I thought of Pod. Like when Pod went to the brothel, and it wasn't even a thing. Like he was just so good at the sex that everyone wanted to the sex
was
with
just like,
him.
Call
Cool.
him tripod.
Yeah.
Because it was so big. Cool. Yes, the pod will be coming back.
I was gonna say to finish my point was I think the only reason I'm generally okay with this is because Brienne's clearly not afraid of Tormund. She could kick his ass, so there's no element of like
Thing
fear
is, though,
there.
Brienne has always been, like she's shied away from being a woman ever. She's like, no, I'm good enough to hold a sword. I'm good enough to be a fighter. I'm good enough to wear armor, and this is what I want to do. And then to have a man kind of like, sexually attracted to her, I think this kind
For
of like
being this badass warrior woman.
that's it, and it's almost like
But
kind
she
of
hasn't always shied away from being a woman. She tried to be a woman with Renly when she first met him. She
Yeah.
felt like she tells a story to Kat in the
Yeah.
show where she fell in love with him and he danced with her and he defended her and
He
she
made her
like
feel special.
he made her feel special. And like she knew that he was never going to fall in love with her, but she still like
her gaydar was broken as well.
that was true.
Mm.
But he still made her feel like a woman.
Yeah.
And so maybe we'll have a female blossoming on this show at the wall or whatever.
I want Tormund to I want them to get into a big old battle, and Tormund sees her kill a bunch of dudes, and he's just like,
I've got to have you.
"You're the best." But I feel like I want him to ask her how she does like a certain battle move or something to show appreciation of like. That was a cool warrior thing. I want to learn how to
did you
do
do
that. And
that?
like if there's a little bit of that going on, then I'll be way more on.
Well, he'll use
like,
that
oh.
as the common denominator, the common factor.
Oh yeah, or
between
they
the two.
learn from each other. Like she sees a move that he does, and and it's just like, yeah, I'm on board with this
Oh,
shit.
we got a ship sailing right now. The last thing I want to touch on really quickly before we wrap things up here for our recap of episode 5 is the Children of the Forest. They dropped a big bomb, and that was, well, the fire bombs, they were awesome.
I hate those fire bombs.
They're so cool.
I'm okay with them. They're fine.
Went from blue to red, and the way she
I hate
sacrificed
those
herself. Can we just stop with the multiple stabbings as well? They make me feel really bad.
Yeah.
The Shank City happening, I don't like it. But I mean, that's real. That's what happened. We see a flashback. Bran and the Three-Eyed Raven go to a time where the Children of the Forest create the first White Walker by slowly inserting dragon glass into a man's chest.
First of all, that guy was really like honestly, he was a good-looking dude.
Was he a Stark or a Tully? He had
I
kind of
thought-
reddy hair, didn't he?
I think he
Brown?
was
Red?
the original. It wasn't the original story. It was like the Night's King was supposed to be this dude who left. Who like it's one of the stories they told Bran as like a kid.
Yeah.
Like he
Yeah.
Old
he
man
left the
stories?
wall.
Oh, my sweet
he
summer
fell in love
child.
with like a like winter like
Another.
woman other thing, and he was just like, she's great, and then something happens to her, and then he's like, fuck it, and like cursed mankind and became the Night's King. So seeing this was just like, oh, okay, like that's just like stories, and it's like, oh, you guys just made a monster you had no idea how to control.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's exactly what. Yeah. They just made a monster they didn't know how to control.
But they made it to protect themselves from man, and it's kind of funny that it's become like the bigger thing now. So
Yeah.
man, they actually need to enlist the help of to eradicate the thing that they were trying to.
Well,
It's like making
protect them.
a
What's-
biological virus, and then you're just like, oh, but we have vaccines, and then the vaccine doesn't work. And it's
what's
like,
also
well,
interesting is like why now? Why are they reactivating now? Why are they coming back
winter.
to life now? But
comet?
it's not like there hasn't been winter again and again and again and again.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like the weather patterns are irregular, but they're and George R. R. Martin has said that the weather patterns are related to the magic of the world.
Right.
But why now? What was
I don't know if you've heard, but winter's coming.
You sure about that?
Well, it's trying.
Okay.
It's trying to come.
Well, it depends on with whom.
The wild. Did I make this? Wait, you had to take this dirty, didn't you?
I'm like Tormund.
Eyebrows dancing. I did like this, though. I liked that we discovered what and who the White Walkers are. It'd be still great to know who the Night's King is. We still don't know who that is, but it was a person. And then realizing, the Children of the Forest sacrificing themselves to protect Bran. Obviously, Bran is so much bigger than we think he is. The Three-Eyed Raven, obviously, we've been seeing from season 1. But knowing that Bran is going to become the next one, the passing of the baton has happened. Even though he's not ready for it, makes everyone nervous. The Children of the Forest.
How are they going to get out of the north? Who's going to save them? How is he going to be able to
ooh,
like
maybe Cold Hands will come back.
maybe Cold Hands, maybe Benjen Star?
When he was going through the winter people, like the White Walkers, and
There it
going
is.
through, and they saw somebody on the horse, like that shot. Originally, I was like, is that going to be Benjen? And I was going to be real sad if it was, and then it wasn't. I was like, oh, okay.
Do you guys think it's a bit of a cheap move for the Night's King to just touch Bran and that allow access into the caves?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I was saying. It's like a hacky move to explain like something that just plot wise needed to get done. I wish they had come up with a more like elegant solution to get them there. Because that was the one time in the episode where I was like, I can feel the writers like writing a script there and being like, I don't know, he touches Bran, and now the magic lock is broken. And
Right,
now
I
they
like
can
it. Write it. Yes.
Magic it. Yeah.
Yeah, I would have liked like the Night's King, like if he had figured out his own kind of way to finally like break through the magic on his own, and then the Three-Eyed Ravens is like, oh fuck, this is happening. I need to transfer everything now. Like you need to go. Like having it be, I mean, I know it's supposed to be like dramatic irony that it's Bran's fault, kind of thing, but it's just like, it's his fault, but it doesn't bother me that way. I don't know. Like it's just the umphness of that is not as. Like it could have been better. That's all.
What do you guys think about the fact that the Children of the Forest are completely different from last season and no one's saying anything about it?
I'm okay with it. I mean, they look goofy. I like last season better, but it's fine. Whatever.
Yeah, I've always imagined them to be like this big,
Yeah.
like real little.
They're like little sylvan elflings. That's, and whatever. They're fine.
Yeah, it's
They're like weird alien tree aliens. It's whatever. They've got hand grenades.
And was that the last of them?
Tree
That was
aliens with
it.
hand grenades.
See, this is what I'm not sure about. The Children of the Forest, obviously they were huge in numbers and then Man took over and they've obviously been dwindling and hiding ever since. But there weren't many of them during this fight and a lot of them died in front of our eyes when it was happening. How many are left, if any, are left?
Yeah, I think that was it for them. I think there's no more Children of the Forest.
I think probably that's. I don't think we're probably going to see very many more. I don't think we're going to see any more. Honestly, I think it's implied that the deep forests belong to the Children of the Forest.
Right.
It's implied that the Reeds might have some knowledge from the Children of the Forest, and they're much further south. It's implied that there's an area near on this lake. There's this island. It's implied that there might be Children of the Forest there.
Right.
But like realistically, on the show, I don't think we're going to see any more.
Yeah.
And it does need to be clarified that Mira was making a dragon glass spear, the one that she threw at one of the right-hand men, which shattered him to pieces.
Oh yeah, there's no more 4 horsemen. There's 3 now.
There's only 3. 1 down. Well, Jon Snow's killed one as well.
Oh, that's
so
right.
It's
What
like
about
the
that little
numbers are
baby
dwindling.
that the Night's King turned in like 3 seasons ago? Remember? He took Craster's baby and he went boop, and he
Just
got blue eyes.
Final shot is just John killing another
little
little
baby.
baby. And it's like, I'm sorry, man.
Oh, heavy. So, I mean, that's something positive from this episode. But
Yeah.
the Night's King is still like the biggest threat. And the way that those whites were crawling through that cave space, not only running through, but
It's like
crawling
World
on
War
the
Z. It was
So
awesome.
Oh my
creepy.
God, I didn't like that
We're
at
like
all.
orcs from Lord of the Rings. It was awesome.
I mean, when we saw Homeland, when the it was a Homeland, right? With episode with the giant Hard Home. Homeland is just another show with Claire Danes.
with the like.
Well, when they were
Come at me,
running
bro.
down running
cliff.
down the walls as well, you kind of saw that, and they were freaking scary, and then rising again. So everyone who participated in the battle, who was alive, is risen as dead again. The threat is looming, and we're realizing that this is bad. Like Westeros is fucked.
Just need a
Stop
couple
completely-
dragons. Just a
stop
couple
fighting.
dragons show up and just burn them all, and you're like, all right.
How quickly did they take out Summer? I don't even feel like Summer got a good swipe in.
Summer doesn't have fire.
She held them off so that they could leave out the back.
Summer.
I think, yeah. I mean, I love episodes like this because we had like a couple episodes in King's Landing, and then we had this, and this is what reminds us what the actual stakes of the show are. And we're gonna go back to King's Landing, and we're gonna get some more Marjorie, and there's the Faith versus the whatever, and then we're gonna, maybe go back to Dorne for some reason and like see what's going on
Isn't
there.
Dorne done? I feel like
No,
Dorne is
because
done.
they killed Doran, or they killed they
yeah,
killed
Prince
Doran.
Doran. Yeah.
And maybe we'll go more King's Mood, and like all these things are interesting, and I like all the characters except for Doran. But the real stakes of the show, I love being reminded in the middle of a season what the real stakes are, because previously you would have to wait until the last episode or two to be reminded about like the White Walkers and the Whites, and now it's like no.
Now
it
it
is a
feels like
constant
winter is
threat.
coming.
It is
Yeah.
a threat. It is a threat that is knocking on our door now.
Yeah.
It's great. I love it.
So that is our recap of the show. I want to quickly go through and ask you guys to rate the episode out of 10. What did you think?
I will give this 8.5 out of 10.
The last 2 weeks, I wasn't on last week. The last 2 weeks have both been 9s. I've loved them. Arguably, last week was the best episode of the entire series so far. This week was just as like amazing and meaningful. They're on fire right now.
Some people were saying that not much happened in this episode until the end. I disagree. I think a lot's been happening. I think there's a lot of progression every single episode. This one, I mean, I can't remember the last time I practically wept. And it wasn't that I was like sad. It was like, I can't stop these tears. Like, I don't know what's happening. I can't
Maude.
stop them.
Stop these tears.
So I gave it a 9 out of 10 as well. But let us know your thoughts in the comments below. What do you give this episode out of 10 and why? Did you love it? Did you loathe it? That's what we want to know. What are you looking forward to next week? What are you expecting? What do you want?
I want some more. I want Danny to get the Dothraki over, and I want to see that kind of resolved real quick. I want Arya to do anything else. Anything else.
Get a new face.
Yeah.
I'm tired of not seeing dragons. I want to see dragons again. We had a lot of dragon teasing early in the season, and we've been quiet on the dragon front since then. And I'm excited to see the confrontation between the Faith Militant and the Crown come to a head. And hopefully something will happen there, and we can move past that and then get that plot rolling again.
There is almost a checklist where it's like, all right, can we just face this and deal with it already so
Yeah.
we can get to the good stuff,
Yeah.
being the North. Well, thank you so much for joining us. Hashtag TV Show. If you do want to get involved, your tweets could be read out. And guys, give us at least half a night before you tweet direct spoilers at us. I blocked 2 people. This episode actually did leak, I think, somewhere. Yeah, earlier in the week it got leaked accidentally in one country.
I've just learned on Sundays at 6 p.m.
Oh,
I'm not allowed
Yeah,
to go
on Twitter.
on anything
I am
until I watch
off.
the episode.
Yeah.
When you tweet directly at me and a notification pops up with the spoiler,
Just turn off your notifications, Maude.
maybe that's what I
You have to do that on Sundays. That's just
Oh.
like.
But just use that hashtag instead, is the point I'm trying to make. TV Show. We'll be back next week, episode 6. What's it called? Does anyone know?
I
certainly
have
don't.
no idea.
I like to go in fresh.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. It's going to be called the All Fuckery Battle.
Ooh, I can't wait.
Yeah.
Winds of Winter.
Well, that's which you got to mention today in this episode. Actually,
It did.
Cersei mentioned the Winds of Winter, which is the name of George's next novel. Which I'm reading.
Cersei was
Fake Cersei.
Oh.
The fake Cersei.
I didn't even notice
I-
that.
Yeah, they
Honestly,
used a
that-
line
yeah,
of
that did go
dialogue
over my
where
head.
she's like, the winds of winter. And it was like a bit of a dit from the
Oh, I didn't
writers.
even hear.
Yeah, being like, oh, that book took a while.
That's the theme.
Dig. Anyway, we'll catch you next week. Until then, goodbye.
Adios.
Bum, ba, 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 ba.
Dun, 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 dun.
Fa 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 fa
Game
fa
of Thrones and TV show. Hello, welcome to TV Show.